Gotta move faster, you're gonna get knocked out. Versus Royale. Versus Royale. Versus. Better move faster, you're gonna get knocked out. Versus Royale. Versus Royale. Versus. Better move faster, you're gonna get knocked out. Versus Royale.
Oops, on the echo. What the heck? What up, everybody? Welcome to the reflection period for Season 0 of Versus Royale. I'm going to try to keep this as concise as possible. And by concise, I'm going to try to keep this under 45 minutes today. I have quite a few things I want to talk about and reflect on, because this was a daily marathon for 38 days. There's quite a few things that we learned from this entire process. And today is just kind of a way to quickly reflect and touch upon all those things, and then also announce that we do have feedback forms that y'all can fill out, and those feedback forms will be used to create a better Season 1 when that happens. Oh shoot. One second. Does it sound better now? Sorry about that. I had the wrong setting selected. One's if it sounds good now. Alright, fantastic. Let me redo that intro for y'all because, yes, I do realize that probably sounded terrible. Thank y'all for coming through. It is good to see y'all. We are going to spend the next 45 minutes or so reflecting on Season 0. I'm not going to drag this on too long. I'm going to try to get through a bunch of things that we have prepared. And I just want to reflect on some of my favorite moments, because this was one of the best months of my life as far as just being a content creator. I felt really connected and aligned with a lot of the community. And I had so much fun with the Versus Royale format, and it has really just inspired me to relaunch the Versus channel at full force moving forward, because I'm enjoying it and I feel the passion behind everything. Also, shoutouts to Shania for this awesome Versus Royale artwork. We have the frogs, lemurs, toucans, and chameleons on here. We have several artists that have created really cool stuff for this first season of the Royale. Shoutouts also to Christopher Tyler Gale, who made our little images that you see at the bottom of the screen, our little animal icons for Season 0. Christopher Tyler did a really good job whipping those up, hand drawing them, and I think it added a lot of just like seasoning to the first season. Wow, double the seasoning. And we have other things that will be revealed at the award ceremony that the artists have created. But that's one thing that I really want to say is we really want to support and try to work with artists to create a lot of just culture within the Versus community. So if you are an artist that wants to connect with us, let us know. We're going to try to find things that we can collaborate with, and we will soon be selling merch. How soon? Next week. We have an award ceremony coming up on this upcoming Saturday, because it's going to be a week from now, because of the fact that party points are still open for the next 4 days, 4 or 5 days, I believe. So anybody who wants to race along with one of the last games that we streamed this past week, you are able to this week to get party points in. And then we have the award ceremony on Saturday. and we have some really cool stuff to announce and showcase then. Let's look at this artwork one more time. This looks so cool. I love it so much. All right, y'all. So first off, I do want to thank the entire group of people that helped make this season happen. We had a lot of people on the staff, behind the scenes, admins, all the players, all the hosts, all the participants, all the scorekeepers, all the mods, all the viewers, all the people who watched and supported in the chat, cheering on their favorite players and team members. It has been a really fun first season, and we just kind of did this on the drop of a dime, y'all. Like, we didn't even really market this. I literally uploaded a short, a little video saying like, y'all, I have this idea. If you're down, let's do this. And so many of y'all came through just from that one short that I'm like, okay, let's just, we can already do this. I don't even have to market this anymore. So we just did it, and we had a fun ass time. And now we can take all that experience and really push forward as a collective, because we're all one big group, y'all. Super duper big shout outs to Brondo. Brondo did so much work. Like, if y'all, a lot of it is work that y'all probably don't even see or notice, but Brondo is always doing so much work with scheduling, for being mindful and trying to keep everybody seen and scheduled and just overall heard. Brondo's like a really good person and does so much for this server, and definitely is an MVP and brought so much just life to this entire season. Shoutouts Tori as well, who created a fantastic scorekeeping system that looks super organized and looks, and I can't even, it's kind of hard to put it into words how cool it is and how well organized and just efficient everything is. If y'all haven't seen the scorekeeping Excel sheets, y'all should take a peep at them. They have a lot of cool data on them that just make all this stuff really, if you're like a data person, the scorekeeping sheets are for you, which you can find them in the Discord server. And yeah, there's a million thank yous I can give, and I'm going to give more later, but just for the sake of moving forward with the purpose of this Season 0 reflection, I think it's time that we start talking about some of the things we're going to be doing moving forward. Starting off with team admins. For Season 1, we really want to have an application process for those interested to apply to be admins, to help be people that help schedule their team members for certain games, to help us have a really balanced schedule where people who are passionate about certain games get to play the games that they're passionate about. And the team admins will also be in charge of just like helping people on their teams like be seen, because if we have just a small admin team, it's really easy to overlook people, and then when people aren't seen, they can feel bad. It is our goal to have a robust enough team to where we're able to like see people and make sure that they get to do what they're trying to do. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, we'll have an application process for that soon, and this team will help make sure that the schedule for Season 1 is put together ahead of time and is as considerate as can possibly be put in. Next up is player scheduling. This season, we kind of had a pretty makeshift player application process where we used a mixture of the Google Forms that y'all filled out and the Discord threads that we have on the Discord server for people saying what they wanted to participate in. And that worked pretty well overall. I think it did the job for this first season. But as we grow, that is definitely not necessarily the best move. So we have been working on and talking about different methods of how we can properly schedule players for the games that they're interested in. The biggest aspect of this is having the team admins and a proper amount of time to schedule things. Because if we have like a full like month to schedule everything out, that gives us like a day per month just to like have people have a discussion on who's going to play each game per day. I don't know, having like time to prepare for the next season is almost, it feels crazy because we did so much just now, just without even any preparation really. Like we did prepare, but a lot of this was just kind of created on the spot. But now that we have time to prepare, it's like, it almost feels weird. It's like, wait, what? We have time? Huh? But I think having more time to like schedule and the player scheduling out will create a much more thoughtful schedule that will appeal to a lot more people's overall schedules and lives. And that's kind of the goal. Next big thing is game admins. Game admins will be people that apply that want to be representatives of specific games for Versus and the Royales. They'll pretty much be in charge of creating rule sets, systems that help teach beginning players how to start playing a game without feeling super overwhelmed, like letting them know certain things that are good to focus on if they want to race and do well from the beginning. Creating round structures, kind of coming up with the best ways to play games, and then finding ways to communicate and transmute the things related to what it would do to be involved as a game admin. Because we're going to have a lot of games. We already have a lot of games, and we're trying to add even more games. So because of that, we need to start having people who are kind of particularly selected as the curators of information and the final like deciders of specific things when going into certain games, royales, after parties, all that. All right, that being said, we have Royale Game Planning, which is a new section on the Discord server that was created today. Royale Game Planning has a thread, or it's like a forum that has all the games that were the most suggested games by y'all this season. We had a brainstorming section on the Discord server where we were documenting the games that people were requesting, and the games that were requested the most have had threads created for them so we can start having deeper discussions about how those games would work and to start seeing how much people are actually interested in playing those games. So if you want to take a look through there and if any of those games interest you, let us know there so we can potentially start having just like, we can start planning some things in the Discord server in the future for us to test those games out and just start creating small micro communities for those games. Because right now it's a bit easier with us doing like the mainstream Nintendo games, but if we want to hit more niche games, we got to do a little bit more prep work with like finding the people who are interested in doing those things. Is this game? Oh shoot, I got really loud all of it. Sudden out of nowhere. And it will be said, as we grow, it'll be easier for us to play games that would be considered more niche, because the more people we have, the more people who have played various games. So that's kind of the thing, is as we grow, we'll just be able to expand our prospects on what's possible. Already, I love what we've done in just 1 month, and I'm just excited about all the games we get to play, because I've played so many games in the past few years that I'm like, would love to just see in a Royale or Versus format. I personally love doing Versus. Even when I lose, I'm still having a good time. I like trying to play games fast and just learning things about the game that I don't learn from playing slow and methodically. Because doing a Versus of a game is almost the opposite of how I play games normally. And the contrast is what kind of like, is what I enjoy a lot. Next thing that is very hype is the promotional channel on the Discord server. Now that everybody has had about a month or so to get to know each other and play games with each other and have after parties, we have created a new Discord thread where people can share some basic information about themselves and share links to their YouTube or Twitch. And that is a way to like try to now connect with the people that you now recognize. A lot of these people aren't just random names for y'all anymore. Now y'all have connections to them. So this is just an easy way to be like, oh yeah, I really enjoyed racing with this person. I didn't know they streamed, but now I can follow their streams and I kind of support their endeavors of streaming and whatnot. So if you want to, you can go there and share some information about yourself and promote yourself with our little format that we have created. Next up is the Versus Committee. A Versus Committee will be a group of people who apply, which this will be a large group. Pretty much it's just like, it'll I want this to be a very large group of people, but simple application process just to show interest. This will be a group that their main goal is to try to make and vote on decisions that are relevant to the overall structure of Versus Royales, maybe other things related to Versus. We just need more people to help decide on things that are fair. Right now, it's kind of been a lot of me just making kind of final decisions on the spot for this first season just to test things out and have fun. But as we grow and as people are taking these competitions more seriously, I think it's good to have a group of people that vote on what they think is the best direction moving forward for some of these things that I'm aware are going to be things that people spend a lot of time doing. I'm realizing things like participation and party points are things that some people have probably spent over 100 hours over this first season just interacting with. And when people are spending this much time interacting with things, I want us to make sure that we're thoughtful with the rules that we have in place so that things are fair. And a lot of y'all have been the ones playing, so I want y'all to be the people to be a part of this committee so y'all can have direct feedback and kind of say what things are decided on moving forward with how we approach simple rule sets and round structures and that kind of stuff. Next major thing is, as a lot of y'all know, we have a division system, and I've learned that our division system is a little bit inversed in comparison to how other division systems work. And I'm kind of okay with that. Apparently in other esports, Division 1 is considered like the top division, while here we've put Division 1 as the bottom division. But I'm kind of okay with that. I feel like it's our own little quirk that comes from me being in my own little bubble. And I don't know. I feel like raising up divisions kind of makes sense, because then theoretically we can continue like adding levels if we want to, if this becomes deeper and deeper. Because who knows how many levels this will have in the future. But Division 2 onboarding is a structure where people can submit to begin as a Division 2 player. This is mostly targeted towards people who are professional speedrunners of games, who have recorded speedruns that have been submitted to the speedrun record boards. And this would also require speedruns that are recorded that aren't just any percent runs, but are full game runs. Like, for example, if it was Mario 64, a 16-star run wouldn't really count. It would have to be a 70-star run or a 120-star run, or a category that shows like a really deep competency of the game, where they're like already showing like, hey, I have too much of an advantage to start at Division 1. I need to be moved up. But it will be optional. We will not require it. It'll just be a thing that people who have already showcased and recorded and documented their progress of the game will be allowed to do. But we do need to create the exact rules and onboarding process for this, because this is a thing I know a lot of people will take pretty seriously. So we need to make sure that we're thoughtful with that. Next big debate that we had is, right now, or as of Season 0, people who were participating in a Versus on screen were not allowed to submit a second time to race along for party points. Now, we have debated on whether or not we should lift this and have it to where if you're on screen, you are allowed to race along with party points. Just because if it's a game that you like and say it's only played one time in the season, it allows you to race along a second time. Some people said that they don't want people who won the Versus to be able to race along a second time for party points, because they think that's like too far of an advantage. I hear y'all on that. There might be a line to draw in the sand if we allow this. This is the type of thing that we need a Versus committee to discuss and vote on the specifics, because we need to decide what exactly we want to allow with some of these things. Yeah, we want to do something that everybody enjoys the most, because there is pros and cons to both, and there could be a perfect middle ground. that people are already discussing in the chat right now. Another large thing is after parties. So we had after parties almost every single evening after a streamed Versus Royale. And these after parties were some of the most fun moments of the whole entire thing. They were a moment for us to test round structures. The only bad thing is they usually went pretty late. It really sucks. Time zones suck, honestly, because they didn't go late for me necessarily, but for some people they were going pretty damn late. But even I was getting tired during some of these after parties and falling asleep after I got knocked out, because looking at screens makes me tired. But after parties overall, this will be something that we try to have way better. Like, we want to schedule these better and try to start them at a time that's more convenient for everybody. And I think once we have more people and more scheduling and more planning, we'll be able to create an after party structure that's more convenient and more inclusive to a lot of people. Speaking of, we also have time zones. Next season of Versus Royale, we want to be way more thoughtful of European time zones as well as Australian, obviously. So we're going to try to have more Royales where we have a afternoon and evening Royale. Typically, we've been starting at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. I would like to have one that starts at, say, 11:30 p.m. or a.m. Pacific time. And then a second one that starts, say, like 3 or 4 p.m. Pacific time. Like 4 or 5 hours later. So, like, the really popular games we would run twice in the day. One that's, like, better for Europeans and East Coast. One that's better for West Coast and Australians. And yeah, just try to, like, structure things in a way that's just really inclusive. We've definitely been very considerate of this. Now that we have a lot of people and a lot more of an outreach, we can structure things in a way that allows for more people to be involved in a way that's convenient to them. Next big thing is Royale sizes. So the very last day, the finale for our Royale, we had 40 screens on board. We wanted to just do a stress test and just see what happened when we did this many screens, just as like a science experiment. It really slowed down my computer when we were at 40. My computer got pretty much to normal once we were at one like solid screen of screens, because I was having to scroll to get all the screens on my screen, and that was just too much. My computer was not liking that. But I learned many things through doing that about Discord and about screen share, and it was actually a very, very beneficial experiment. And we learned through doing that 24 players is pretty much the max that makes sense. Like, 24 players can actually work without slowing down our computer, and is still a structure that feels like a ton of people, but doesn't overdo it in a way where it's like overkill. So I think from now on, if we're ever to do a jumbo versus, 24 players is going to be the top, which is pretty nice because it kind of mirrors what Mario Kart does now. 8 players is still a really sweet spot for a smaller one. Then we have either 12 or 16 players. I think any increment of 4 technically works as teams are balanced, long as teams are balanced, but I think the optimal are 8, 12, 16, and 24. Just kind of dependent on the formats. We have lots of different formats, and when it comes to single, double, triple elimination, almost anything can be done. But there is also the best sweet spot. Next big thing is technical difficulties. This was probably one of the most like controversial elements this season because technical difficulties suck. They're frustrating. They feel unfair because you're losing it because of something that's completely out of your power. And sometimes we were making slightly harsh calls in the sake of just keeping the competition flowing, even if it was kind of at the expense of somebody for having a technical difficulty. So we're trying to be mindful and thoughtful of how we can best approach these where it's like an equal thoughtfulness towards everybody. One of the best things we've landed on is if a technical difficulty happens within like the first half of the first round, then that is a good means to restart the entire Royale, because you're not that far in. It doesn't hurt to like reset like 10 minutes for the sake of somebody. But anything past that, rounds 2, 3, 4, whatever, because of the nature of just how on the spot, live, and irreversible a lot of these things are, technical difficulties just suck, and it's just an unfortunate thing that it's like, if you can turn your game back on and like restart, but we can't necessarily go back in a line for you. So unfortunately, a lot of the time it's led to eliminations, and yeah, it's just an unfortunate thing. Technical difficulties suck for everybody, and unfortunately most of the time we just have to move on with the show. But we are trying to like talk more about this and be mindful and find some good practices and have hosts be mindful and just have some good systems in place so everybody is on the same page when these things happen, because we want everyone to feel on the same page and for people to not feel like we don't care, because we do care about this. Next big thing that I'm very excited to announce, and I named this on the spot today because I couldn't think of a name for it, but I want to call this the Versus Royale Roundtable, which is going to be a recorded talk show. It's not going to be live, it'll be recorded, so it's not like a recorded Discord call. It's going to be a talk show to just discuss things related to Versus Royale, video game races, and a very clean, curated spot for us to have really good discussions in a very like edited format where it's kind of free flowing, but also professionally like set up. And yeah, this will just be like a place for us to have discussions with people on the staff, players, hosts, anybody that is important to our Versus Royale community and Versus community will hop on this and talk about stuff moving forward. I'm very excited about this. Next big thing is this upcoming Saturday, we will have the Season 0 award ceremony that will be uploaded or premiered as a video on the Versus channel. It won't be a live stream. A premiered video is kind of like a live stream, but we're doing it as a video so we can have a lot more video editing, a lot more sauce, and just trying to make sure all our facts are correct. And I want to be ambitious with the award ceremony video, and trying to be ambitious in a live stream format difficult. So we're going to premiere a really clean video this Saturday for the award ceremony, and it's going to be freaking awesome. And during that award ceremony video, we will also be debuting the Season 0 merch. It will be the exclusive Season 0 merch that'll be available for a limited time to say, I was here for Season 0 of Versus Royale. It'll be evolved for Season 1. We will have Season 1 merch that'll be slightly different, but Season 0 merch will be exclusives of Season 0. And it'll be sick. We have one design, which y'all have seen. This is one of the designs we're working with. Shout out Shania. This is definitely cool enough for us to integrate into one of the designs. But we'll have some more simplistic designs too. What's next? I bet lots of people are wondering what's happening after this. When's the next season? Is there stuff happening between seasons? What's next for Versus? This just happened on the spot. Do we have plans moving forward? Kind of. I'm definitely going with the flow of things, but I have a lot of plans. I'll start with this week. This week is kind of the cool down from Season 0. So the next 5 days or 4 days, you're able to submit the final games for party points or participation points. So closure for party points is not over yet. Versus points is now closed as of yesterday. But yesterday's stream was so awesome. Shout out Smack Explosives for the amazing intro. If you didn't watch yesterday's stream, at least watch the intro. The intro is really, really cool. But that was the last on-stream Versus for Season 0. But for the people trying to race along with things, they have the next 4 days. And then Season 0 will officially come to a close with the award ceremony this Saturday. So this week, I'm personally going to be kind of live streaming on my own Twitch a bit. I also play game requests. For those who don't know, it's like one of the main things that I've done since I've started doing subathons is people donate for game requests for me to play games for several hours at a time. And it's kind of been one of my favorite ways to just like really push through a ton of games that I want to play, but it's hard to find time to play because I have to make money to survive. And people are like, here, I can help you survive for a little bit while you play my favorite game. So I kind of have a backlog of some of these that I didn't even finish before this Royale started. So I just need to play some of these games in my game request backlog while we plan out this award ceremony this week. Deltarune is one of the games I'm playing. I'm going to be doing Chapter 9 of Celeste, finishing Metroid Prime 2, playing more Fire Emblem with Brondo, the Wii one, Radiant Dawn. We already finished Path of Radiance, so now we're doing Radiant Dawn. And yeah, I'm going to be gaming for the next couple weeks. I'm kind of just cooling down. I'm going to take a break from racing just for a little bit. I think we all should. We've all been really in this. So we need to like find our balance. We don't want to burn ourselves out. And then after the award ceremony, we will be having the Versus, the thing that I just showed, the Roundtable. My goal is to have the first episode of this be this upcoming Sunday, the day after the award ceremony. And on the Roundtable, we will announce what's next. So we know what's happening this week. But past that, it's still a little bit of a mystery. I have a lot of ideas, but I need to land on what exactly I'm doing the week after this. But I'm trying to make this a very full year for myself, so I'm gonna try to make the best decision. Okay. Feedback forms on our Discord server, which you can access in the YouTube live stream description. We have a feedback form where you can give us direct feedback on things that you think we should focus on moving forward. So if there's something that I did not discuss today that you want to give feedback on, or if there's something that you want to elaborate on that I discussed today, please use the feedback form that we have and let us know what you're thinking. Next thing is Q&A. If y'all have any quick questions in the live chat that you want me to answer right now, I will try to rapid fire some responses to things that y'all have. While y'all typing those out, I just want to thank you all again for participating on the spot like this. I'm really, really proud of a lot of y'all. I know a lot of you aren't streamers, or you're new to this. You're new to this technology thing, to the streaming thing, to the video game racing thing. Some of y'all did all three for the first time while racing along. You just really jumped in. You dive straight into the deep end, and everybody did a great job. The people who are experienced with this did great. The people who are new to this did great. It was really cool seeing a lot of y'all just come out of your shells and try something new, get to know new people, test out a format that is still fresh, where y'all just freeforming on the spot to rules that are usually created in a most of the round structures for this first season weren't fully definitive until the day of. So people were adapting on the spot. And it's just really cool to see people just being so competent and staying up with it. Versus multi-streaming when? By multi-streaming, are you asking when we're going to stream to more locations? Because yes, currently it's all been streamed to the Versus YouTube channel, which has all been documented there. I did multi-stream it to my Twitch, Attacking Toucans, during this whole first season as well. We've been live over there as well. But that's it. I'm still unsure if I want to stream on a Versus Twitch, because I'm not sure if I'm really trying to collaborate with Twitch like that, unless Twitch supports me more. Currently, YouTube's way more supportive of me as far as like exposure and stuff, so I kind of want to focus on the YouTube side, and then I multicast to Attacking Toucans because that's where I stream typically as well. And we've also been letting some people give us their stream key to multi-stream to their YouTube channel as well. But I do think finding more ways to multi-stream Royales and Versus stuff could be a cool thing to experiment with. Especially maybe having a vertical format that goes to... I don't know. I don't really want to stream to TikTok. I feel like TikTok's really on the downhill. But I don't know. I think there is a lot of discussions that can be had about things that we can do moving forward technologically, and just expanding as far as streaming to other places. We have tested it before. Like Carpal Tunnel of Love said, we did do a mobile version with Luigi's Mansion 3 on Wide Toucan once, where it was like a vertical format. But overall, I don't think vertical videos are needed for Versus streams. But like I said, we can always test things and just have fun with it. There's always a lot of things to test out. Next question was, will we have a preseason for season 1? I would say yes. There will definitely be a build-up. Whether it's just on the Discord, where we're just kind of talking and racing games and stuff on the Discord, or whether or not we'll be live streaming stuff, it's hard to say at this moment. But we're not just gonna on the spot have season 1. Like, there will definitely be much more of a build-up and planning process now that we kind of have some of these ideas lined up. Will the merch be able to be shipped to Canada? I believe the merch is able to be shipped internationally. We have collaborated with Tantrum Merch, who is able to ship internationally. But it might be more expensive depending on where you live in the world. Spring? So this was the Winter Royale. The next one will be the Spring Royale. And at the moment, I think the date I have in mind that I think will be most optimal to aim for will be beginning on the last week of April and having it go all the way through May. That's what makes the most sense in my head right now, but that may be subject to change. The real question is Ryan allowed to host again? We need to consult the Versus committee to find out if Ryan is ever allowed to host again. Reminder, there is a feedback form for people who want to anonymously give feedback. Rukasumi said Ryan should only be allowed to host if I can kick him out. Rukasumi wants to get revenge on King Corfish. Interesting. So the beef is lasting, I see. King, that one voice in my head said, there will never actually be season 1. The true name is This Is Season 0. The next season will be season 0.5. And then the next season will be the season 1 preseason. And so on and so forth. Will people be allowed to switch teams between seasons? And is there a time period on it? There will be a point where people will be allowed to request to switch teams. We haven't fully decided on that yet, but we will probably have an answer for that very soon. We don't recommend people switch, but there will be an option for people to request a switch. I think most people will want to remain on the same team though. But once you have played on a team, once a season has began, you are locked onto that team until the next season has a switching period. I think switching teams is kind of dangerous. You never know how people will take switching from one team to the other. I'm scared to see the politics that happen from team switching. Please don't let it get chaotic, y'all. Please. Were there any games from Season 0 that aren't currently planned to return for Season 1? I don't fully have an answer for that, but from my experience, I think the only game that we wouldn't have on screen again, the one game that we thought is a little bit wishy-washy is Balatro, because we used a seed. And because of the seed, participation points get a little bit dicey. So either if we do games like that again, we either don't use seeds and we allow the RNG element to be a part of everyone's experience, and nobody has a curated seed, so there's not any like preparation by watching the Royale like that. Or games like Balatro, where we have seeds that can be copied like that, become strict after-party games that are on the Discord and not necessarily streamed for party point participation options. But overall, I think every other game that we played worked out pretty smoothly. As far as I'm concerned, we didn't have issues. My personal favorite was Pikmin. Pikmin was the game I enjoyed the most for the Royales gameplay wise. But I love Pikmin, so and I also won the Pikmin Royale and Afterparty, so you could say that I'm kind of a Pikmin guy. I think my favorite Royale to play as far as like overall Royale format is concerned is Mario 64. Mario 64 just feels right, and I really enjoy a lot of the missions in Mario 64. I also like Sunshine, but Sunshine is one of those games that has quite a few more missions that I find to be difficult to push through. For example, washing the eel's teeth. I hate washing the eel's teeth. I do love Sunshine though, but we did learn that there is lots of great mods and different ways to play games where we have control over things from the very beginning. So what if we did a Sunshine Royale where the eel teeth washing shine was already collected from the start, so it's not even one that has to be considered, and you can just go straight to the next mission from there? I don't know. I feel like there's lots of things that we can do to make these like more fun, ways that we can like extract the points of the game that really bother us. Some of these decomps and recomps, like Ship of Harkinian, give us a lot of control over these games. It allows us to curate like very specific race experiences. And something we haven't even tapped into yet for Royales is randomizers. I think randomizers have a lot of potential for this format, and the RNG element of randomizers could make this a lot more fun and appeal to casual players a lot more too. I think the goal for all Royales in the future is to be around 4 hours. I think 4 hours is the sweet spot we should aim for. Anything past that starts to become a little bit too much of a drag. So I think our goal is to try to find the best way for a Royale to be 4 hours, yet have a lot of beef to the full representation of the game. When will we be paid? No, we actually do want to turn Versus into a company that makes money through finding good brand deals. Because if we have a really good, strong community, then really like good brands will want to pay us money to represent their brands on our streams and our things that we do. So my overall goal is to build this up to be a situation where we can get a lot of good brand deals and then properly pay all the people who invest a lot of time into the Versus community as a whole. I think that's like a really just like pure wholesome way for us to make money as a community. And we're already partnered with Aver Media, which is a capture card, microphone, and webcam company that sells really good and affordable technology that a lot of people here use and have been using. And I think us just finding and fostering some of these relationships with some brands that we respect and creating a mutually respected relationship with them can provide us some really good opportunities financially to invest into the people who make this happen. Being able to buy computer stuff and technology and game systems is expensive, and even being involved is expensive. So hopefully we can find a way to allow people to have a little bit of a livelihood while participating in stuff like this. Because that is an overall goal of mine. Life is expensive, I know, and I want to try to alleviate that for people by creating real opportunities. Ever says, Tyler, buy a new PC so we can start streaming these in 4K. Yes. Honestly, I need to have a fundraising stream for myself to buy a new computer so we can start streaming these safely at a high quality. Right now, I'd be limiting myself because my computer is always on the verge of crashing. I actually started the stream today an hour late because my computer just wouldn't turn on. And I'm like, come on, computer, please just turn on. And I turn it off and on over and over again until the screen actually comes on. And then it crashes while turning on. And then I have to turn it off again. And then turn it on and hope it doesn't crash. And then it does, so I turned it off. And then turn it on again. And then it doesn't crash. And then I'm like, okay, I guess I can stream. And then I stream. But then I set my settings at a lower frequency so I don't push the limits of my computer. But the fact that we were able to make it through this entire marathon, despite that, is a miracle. And I think I need to get a new PC sooner than later because I think I'm really pushing my luck a little bit. PCs are expensive though, so it is a kind of bit of a situation. But we'll find a way. All right, y'all. I don't want to drag this on too much longer. I think overall, I am just really thankful for everybody who participated and who hosted and did scorekeeping and did modding and discussions on the Discord and after parties and graphics and art and script writing and human management, just trying to create the schedules and get people to where they should be on time and notified and all that stuff. And thank you to all the viewers, all the people who watched, all the friends who watched their friends play and like supported them and cheered them on. And if there's anybody that I haven't thanked that I should, thank you to them. It's just so many great staff. This whole entire thing was like miraculous. Like those who have been involved know how freaking awesome this was through and through. Like this was just so much great vibes. The Versus community energy is off the charts. I feel it. Pretty sure y'all feel it too. I can't wait for y'all to see the awards ceremony this Saturday. We have some really cool things to share with y'all then. Alright, I gotta head out now, y'all. The Super Bowl's starting, and I want to watch Bad Bunny do the halftime show. I know this shit's gonna be so good. His like performances are off the charts. And we did just buy pizza. I'm not even that hungry, but I feel like when I eat one piece of pizza, I'll feel hungry and then I'll eat 2 more. Tori, yes, I just glazed staff. Shoutouts, Tori. She did so much for this season. Y'all don't even know how much some of these people have been doing for this. I've been seeing it. I've been appreciating it. And if someone doesn't feel appreciated, let me know, and I'll tell you how much I appreciate you. I love gaming with y'all. Y'all freaking awesome. Y'all chill as hell. I'm excited to play some just game requests this week. Very excited for Deltarune. Deltarune exceptionally. I'm also really excited to finish Metroid Prime 2. Alright, y'all. I'm going to hit it one last time. Y'all ready for it? Because you're not going to hear it tomorrow unless you watch a VOD.
Gotta move faster, you're gonna get knocked out. Versus